Is the coronavirus the apocalypse? No. As far as we can tell, it is going to be bad in a certain respect. We're going to see lockdown, supply chain disruption, but it is not the worst thing we've ever seen in the world. And if we track swine flu, there's some predictions that this will be very, very similar, which means it can end up infecting, 13 to 14 million people. Decent mortality rate, but as of right now, the coronavirus mortality rate is around 2.2 or as high as 3%, but I think it's around 2.2%. And now that we are starting to address it and go after it and hospitalize people, the mortality rate will likely start dropping because we are actually tracking this and working on it. So here's the big controversy this morning. Donald Trump says criticism of White House response to coronavirus crisis is new Democrat hoax. As student 15 in Washington state becomes fourth unknown origin case, the third in 24 hours. This is bad, 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 bad. Listen, we don't know how these people are contracting the virus, which means it is absolutely spread further than we can track. And there are probably many other people who have it, may be asymptomatic or may have a mild case they're ignoring because they think it's a cold. There's probably someone right now in Washington who says, I just have a cold. There's no way I've got coronavirus because I'm in Washington, right? These things can travel and you'd be surprised. Look, I live in the Philly area. I'm about an hour and a half, 2 hours from New York City. But all it takes is one person to go to New York, grab a bag of bagels, touch someone's hand, drive down to Philly to, give it to their friend. It's an hour and a half drive. People make this commute all the time. And now it's in Philly as well. This is, I think, for most people, based on the data we've seen, it's not going to be the end of the world. Like I said, it's 80% of people with a mild case won't even notice. But this does mean that there's going to be disruption. Now, the Democrats have been lying up the wazoo about, not every single one of them, but too many of them, claiming that Trump stripped the CDC and killed its budget. And the AP says that is not true. Democrats distort coronavirus readiness. Now, here's the thing. Yesterday, I talked about this. They are lying about what Trump has done. Now they're lying about Trump calling them out for lying. This is insane. We cannot go on like this. Now, look, I think Donald Trump is underreacting. I absolutely do. I want to make sure I'm saying this because I know they want to take these things out of context and claim that I'm screeching or something. It's not the end of the world, but there's going to be serious issues and people will lose their lives. Trump has said that. He said, we're prepared, we're ready. The AP agrees with him, saying the CDC has a plan in place and it's been in place since before Trump. So if the CDC isn't ready now, it's not necessarily his fault. It's what the CDC's been doing. But I think it's fair to say the U.S. is prepared as it can be because what the Democrats have been claiming about Trump is just not true. And I'm going to show you how insane it really does get. Trump says criticism of White House is a hoax. What Trump was saying here is that the Democrats who have come out claiming he's cut away resources and everything, they're lying about it because they're constantly trying to come up with scandals to go after him. He's right. I said that yesterday morning. Now, what do you think is happening? Michael Moore, Trump calling coronavirus a hoax is dangerous. And here we go. Did Donald Trump say the coronavirus itself was a hoax? No. Donald Trump said that the Democrats' attack of him is a hoax, that they're lying. Let's read this. Let me read this from the Daily Mail. We'll tell you exactly what's happening. President Trump has called the criticism of the White House response to the coronavirus outbreak a new Democrat hoax, as a 15-year-old student became the third confirmed unknown origin case in the United States in 24 hours. The high school student in Washington state was the fourth unknown origin case of the virus reported in the fourth. Whoa. Yikes, man. Trump told a rally in North Charleston, South Carolina, that Democrats want him to fail and argued that steps he has taken so far have kept cases to a minimum and prevented virus deaths in the U.S. Listen, when I said it's because I think he's underreacting, I'm not the boss of the world. I'm not in charge. And there's a reason why I wouldn't want to be. I think he could be a little bit more, for lack of a better word, agitated. But it is important that we all remain calm. Trump is saying it's going to be fine. It'll blow over. That's a good thing. And I understand it's a really tough position to figure out what is right and what is wrong. Because if you go out and say the end is nigh, and we're doing our best, people will raid stores. And it's already started happening. People are buying up supplies, stripping store shelves of medicine and masks. A lot of things are being sold out. Food's being sold out in Other parts of the world, it's way worse. Like Italy, for instance, we've seen photos of the shelves being stripped. We don't want to run on the banks. We don't want to run on shops over this coronavirus because we've dealt with things like this before. People will lose their lives. Trump acknowledges this. So I do feel like Trump could be a bit more stern. He could be a bit more, listen. And to an extent he is. So it's kind of like, it's always hard for me because for me, what Trump is doing hasn't crossed a red line in that. I'm just like, come on, you can be a little bit more encouraging of preparedness, I guess. But I think one of his concerns is that the market we've seen the market drop substantial, over 10%. So that's really, really bad for him outside of just the coronavirus. He's talking, he's got to worry about economics and stuff like that. But I'm tepidly unhappy with his response, but I get it. I don't know if it's the right or wrong thing ultimately, but I kind of feel like he could do better. What the Democrats have been doing, and I'll show you right now in the AP fact check. So Mike Bloomberg says there's nobody here to figure out what the hell we should be doing. And he's defunded CDC. It's just not true. Joe Biden said, comparing the Obama-Biden administration with now we increased the budget of the CDC. We increased the NIH budget. He's wiped all that out. That's also not true. The Associated Press is saying that's not true. So the fact that now Donald Trump has criticized them for what the ape is, you know what, man? This is exactly what's been going on with literally everything Trump does. The media will say something, Trump will repeat it, and the Democrats will say Trump did it. The Associated Press says Democrats are lying. I made a video saying, yep, Democrats are lying. Associated Press says so. Trump then says the same thing. Oh, yeah, everything they're saying? It's not true. Now Michael Moore is coming out and twisting what Trump is saying, and it is the most frustrating and mind-bogglingly, insanely stupid thing I can see from people. I cannot stand it. Michael Moore comes out and he gets asked by Brian Williams, who's a liar, by the way. And Michael Moore goes, I was sitting in the green room and Trump said it was a hoax and I just couldn't believe it. It's so dangerous that he would say it. And he didn't say the virus was a hoax. Trump literally said that people will lose their lives. The president acknowledged that the virus could lead to deaths in the U.S., but told the Coliseum and Performing Arts Center, we're totally prepared. I don't know what else the guy can do, because if he comes out and says get ready, it's going to get bad, and people panic, they'll blame him for that. So there's, I guess it's marginally acceptable as far as I'm like I said, I'm tepidly unhappy. Like, I don't know. I guess he could do a better job. That's kind of my attitude. And if you watch me, I say over and over again, it's not the end of the world. They say so far more than 60 cases have been identified in the U.S., with 84,128 cases of the virus around the world. Shortly before Trump began to speak, health officials confirmed a second case of coronavirus in the U.S. in a person who didn't travel internationally or have close contact with anyone with the virus. However, the president did not mention the news. They have no clue. They don't have a clue. They can't even count their votes in Iowa. That's a good point. Trump said, referring to problems that plagued the Democrats' vote in Iowa caucus February 3rd. They tried the impeachment hoax. This is their new hoax, Trump said of the Democratic denunciations of his administration's coronavirus response. He's right. He's right. They're spewing word vomit to earn political points. We've come now to a point, though. So look, I think we understand. It's spreading. It's getting worse. I think Trump should be a little bit more forthright and say, listen, it's going to affect you. Maybe he did that. I don't know. I can just tell you that this clip really, really pissed me off. Michael Moore trying to pretend like he's being all somber. Like, I can't believe it. The president, what has he done? Oh, shut up, dude. Grow up. Are you kidding me? Come on. Vox is now running a story. It's not overreacting to prepare for coronavirus. Here's how. Thank you. Now, look, I get it. There was a smear and op-ed claiming that right-wing media was pushing conspiracies about coronavirus. I mean, they're pushing a lot of people that I don't necessarily think it's fair to call right-wing. We're pushing unconfirmed news reports, I guess. And the problem is they said the same thing about me, that simply by talking about certain reports that I'm pushing the conspiracy theory. You know what? Grow up. We're allowed to have critical thought. We're allowed to talk about things with a critical undertone of sorts. We're allowed to speculate and have a conversation, you insufferable ivory tower morons. If a study comes out from South China University saying, we believe in all likelihood this virus may have originated from a CDC center where someone was doing tests on a bat coronavirus, I think it's fair to say someone put out this study and it came out of China. We don't know if it's true. They didn't say it was true, but hey, even they're entertaining the possibility. Let's keep that in mind. Don't run out freaking out, mobbing stores or running the banks, because look, I got to tell you what, man, so many people are selling their stocks or what, and the market's going down. I guess it may be automated algorithms and most people with 401ks or whatever probably aren't selling off, but I'm surprised people are selling. I'll tell you what, man, this will blow over, right? So Trump is right about that. We're going to be in our house for a week or two. They're going to get a catch on it. We're going to get a vaccine or medicine or something's going to happen. We're humans. We improvise, adapt, and overcome. We're going to be fine. And then what's going to happen is the market's going to rebound like crazy, and it's going to make several people millionaires. The market is dropped by so much that, and in my opinion, I'm not a market expert. It feels like it's artificial because the market was doing really, really well. Some people said that we were due for a correction because it was inflated. It was a bubble. But if when this does blow over, because in all likelihood it's going to, the people who start buying in now at lower prices are going to recover all of that lost space back, because once the news comes that things are okay, people are going to start panic buying, and then it's going to skyrocket, probably better than we saw before. I don't know. I could be wrong. So I'm gonna give a shout out to this. Look, we have this story from Vox. It's not overacting to prepare for coronavirus. Here's how. I'm gonna read this, and I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna do a shout out for preparewithtim.com, because I do believe it would be wise for you to pay attention and to get supplies. I'm being completely honest when I say I do not like doing these shout outs. I've never been a big fan of yelling, the end is near, go buy emergency supplies or anything like that. But I've also been a very pragmatic proponent of having some kind of first aid kit, water supply or food supply. Right now, as we're dealing with supply chain disruption, I do think it would be wise to get some kind of basic emergency food. There's a website that helps that I partner with, I guess you could call it. This does help support my channel when you buy from preparewithtim.com. They actually have a ton of crazy stuff. They have 2-week food supply, 4-week food supply. They have like a year food supply. I'm not telling you to go nuts. I'm just saying, here's what I always tell people. Do you have a first aid kit? If you don't, seriously go get one. But many of you probably do. How often do you use it? You probably don't. Do you have Band-Aids? You probably never use them, but you have them, right? There's a lot of people who would shame you for going out and taking care of yourself. Ignore those people, because they're more concerned about what's socially acceptable than surviving. I don't think, even if you don't buy these supplies, I don't think I don't think you're going to lose your life. I think you'll just end up eating crappy food when the supplies are running low. So that's why I think it's a great opportunity. But one of the reasons why I definitely mention this right now is, for one, I went out and bought supplies, and I ordered some emergency food stuff. I really do think it's important to have, because your worst case scenario is you eat it, but also because this company, this is also newsworthy in and of itself, which you may have heard me say if you watch these other videos. They say, this is the company. If you go to preparewithtim.com, they have this warning. The news media has focused on the coronavirus emergency for days now. At the start of February, demand for our storable food products was 10 times above normal. Since the start of this week, it has spiked to 100 times normal volume. We have documented this change almost daily for you on this webpage. These are unprecedented times. It is no longer emergency preparedness we're dealing with, but emergency reaction. I mean, seriously. There's already been reports of one, I get maybe an antibiotic or some kind of medicine shortage, because we have too much of our manufacturing in China. Shipping will be delayed on every order we take. Keep that in mind. Likely 8 weeks or more in many cases. Knowing this, complete checkout to reserve your place in line now. If you're preparing with our shelf-stable foods, last up to 25 years in storage. Accordingly, as has been in place for a month now, orders will continue to be shipped on a first-come, first-served basis. I am doing this, as I've done in the past several videos, for 3 reasons. The first is that all of the videos I do on coronavirus are demonetized completely. I make like nothing on them. And this does help support my channel. 2, I legitimately and sincerely believe it is wise to have even a small supply. Because like I said, like a first aid kit, you don't expect to use it. You have it. Don't let people shame you. And 3, I seriously think this is newsworthy in and of itself. that we're seeing, stores getting raided. So even if the coronavirus isn't that big of a deal, you have to be worried about human panic. Human panic could be substantially more dangerous than the virus itself. But also, I will add, even Vox.com is now saying it's not overreacting to prepare for coronavirus. It is not overreacting. When I first started tracking these stories, we did? We went out. We went to Walmart first, and we went to Lowe's. And we got a bunch of 5-gallon jugs of water. And it was funny to me that you actually had Tom Cotton, a Republican from Alabama, saying that China's probably lying about this. And I said, he's right, China's lying about this. And when we went and bought water, we didn't buy like a ridiculous sum, but we did buy a lot. And they were like, why are you buying all this water? And I was like, well, we've got several people who work, in the studio, so it's good to have fresh water for people to drink. I'm not going to screech the end as nigh to them. I don't want people to freak out. But I did say to my friends, I'm like, notice how we're here. No one else is here. No one notices. And we're picking up fresh, purified and spring water, and they don't know why we're doing it. That's a good place to be. Because if it does come to the point where, like what we've seen in Italy, where the stores get raided, and I've been in disaster economies before, we're going to be sitting here eating our beef jerky. Well, I got ostrich and stuff too. And we're going to be drinking our fresh water, watching, TV and playing board games or whatever, while other people are rushing to the stores, fighting over the last can of beans with Agnes in the parking lot of a Walmart. That's the joke I make. But I think, and I'm going to say it again, it really does. I really do not like shouting out promos. Much respect to the company, though. I just rarely do these promo spots. You know this. You watch my videos. I rarely do like the typical commercial thing. But I saw this article from Vox. I saw how the Democrats and Trump have been kind of like going after each other. And again, Michael Moore, that was totally disingenuous. But I saw this article. It's literally from yesterday from Vox. It's not overreacting to prepare. Even mainstream leftist media that was downplaying the severity of this for a long time and mocking the right for pushing conspiracy theories is now saying it's not overreacting to prepare. So I will mention one more time. If you do go, so in the link in the description below, I'll have the website. This is a company that I've shouted out before, like during a hurricane, and I've shouted them out now a total of like 5 times, I think, in like the years I've been doing YouTube. And I probably should more because I do believe in what they offer. But I think now it's very, very important to say that if you do go and buy with them, keep in mind there is a massive delay. And that to me is, oh man, that kind of freaks me out. Because this is the first run. People hitting up these companies, ordering what they can. And now this company is saying, sorry guys, we're 2 months out. That's how big the line has gotten. I don't know what to say because I don't want to be a doomsayer or a naysayer or end as an eye or anything like that. But I guess better late than never. Even if you were to order with a delay, at least you'll still have it. And they say that some of these their food lasts 25 years. So drop it in the basement and you'll have it when you need it. Now, what Vox is saying, let me show you what Vox is saying. They say this week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention told us to expect community spread of the novel coronavirus in the United States. It's happened. The latest report, like I showed you, we have the 4th case. It's happening. You'll get sick, right? They think it's going to be like a flu, but it's traveling fast. They say California announced a case with no known ties to previous cases, potentially a sign the community spread has already started. They go on to say the World Health Organization raised its risk assessment worldwide to the highest level. This is Vox, man. We are beyond the right-wing conspiracy smears at this point. Vox.com is telling you it is the highest level it's been, and it's going to spread. So I think now, I can't stand how they're late on this, but at least they're here, right? These developments have many Americans wondering, wait, are survival preparations now necessary? Is stockpiling food a sensible idea or a massive overreaction? Is it selfish or paranoid to be planning for the worst? Well, as the title of Vox, the leftist Vox is saying, it is not overreacting. This vindicates me to an extent. Because one of the reasons I'm always reticent to do like the promos for like emergency food is because I don't want to overreact. I do not want to be one of those guys where like, buy your gold, the end is coming, the government, and whatever. I know I'm making fun of Alex Jones, but I do that in a playful banter. But the point is, I don't want to be overreacting. I'm tepid milquetoast. And so when I start saying this, I'm like, am I saying it too soon? Well, here's Vox. They say this. If the coronavirus spreads more widely in the US, Having prepared for its arrival will benefit not just you, but also your loved ones, your neighbors, and people in your community. You don't need to take major steps to survive without electricity or water, but both should keep working just fine. But changing your habits and shopping patterns and planning ahead can protect you and others. Thank you. Vox.com. Thank you. Preparing for the almost inevitable global spread of this virus, now dubbed COVID-19, is one of the most pro-social, altruistic things you can do in response to potential disruptions of this kind. Zeynep Tufekci argued in Scientific American. Thank you. I was reading USA Today the other day, and they were like, right-wing conspiracies spreading panic. And I'm like, oh, dude, you know what, man? When someone gets hurt, it's going to be your fault. When someone is hungry and thirsty, it's your fault. But now we get Vox. I love this. So yeah, you should be taking some steps to get ready. Here's the Reasonable Person's Guide to the Coronavirus Preparation, where we, with help from public health experts, try to help you not panic, but prepare. Thank you. Thank you. Seriously, wash your hands. You don't need to wear a face mask if you're well, but you should if you're sick. If you get sick, you might be out of commission for a few days or weeks. Get the things you need to manage that. Boom. Get the things you'll need to manage if you get sick. 4, consider what you do if schools and daycares are closed. 5, psychological preparations are important too. So I'm not going to make this one super long, but I will say these people are late to the party, but at least they're at the party. A lot of people got to the party early, and now we're looking at an 8-week delay on food shipments from preparewithtym.com. But at least now we can see that you are not crazy for having done so. For all of you who went out and bought stuff, Vox is now saying it was the right thing to do. I wish they said it last week. But I also want to mention, as more and more mainstream outlets start telling you it's time to prepare, don't be surprised if you go to the store and find the shelves cleared out. Again, it may not be the virus that gets us. It may be the panic. Not that ends the world or anything, but the supply chain disruption. So if we're worried about the spread of this disease, some factories stop delivering, we lock things down, there's checkpoints, you'll find that your stores don't have the food you like. And that's why it's important to react early. Don't be the last one, holding the hot potato or pulling the short end of the stick. If Vox.com is now saying it's not overreacting to prepare, they have my my respect and gratitude for finally, coming around and saying, please take care of yourself. And I'll leave it there. So naturally, to wrap this up into the first point, it's kind of a twofold thing here. I don't know if Trump is right or wrong to do what he's doing. I'm not smart enough to say we should or shouldn't react or whatever. But I do personally feel that Trump could do a little bit more to tell people to get ready. And we've already seen other outlets and we've already seen a lot of people doing it. So I do worry that if Trump keeps saying it'll be okay, we'll deal with it, we're prepared, some people might underreact. However, Michael Moore claiming that Trump called the virus itself a hoax is a lie. And I'll leave it at that. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel, and I will see you all then.